Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need, if we can, survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and sitting right next to me is my brother, Tommy. How's it going, Tommy?
Good. How you doing?
And joining us once again is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going, Richard?
Good. How's it going?
Dude, it's pretty good. I mean, listen, today was a good day as far as it wasn't like scorching hot weather like it was last weekend when we were recording our episode. The skies are no longer orange here in the Bay Area. It doesn't feel like post-apocalyptic or we're living on Mars or something like that. So it's a good day. I would say overall, we have a lot of good wrestling to talk about this week. Some news.
It's a new day, Danny. Yes, it is.
There we go. On that note, boom. Love it. But yeah, no, thank you again to all the Kliqsters out there for joining us on this week's episode of In The Kliq. As always, remember to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And remember to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also YouTube at In The Kliq. And, dude, so much so. Was that a heart you just posted?
No.
This is why we need to start doing video. We got to turn this podcast, not audio only, but video, because Richard, I think he tries to break us, Tommy, on his end virtually.
Wow. I don't know.
He's posting a heart here.
I'm
on
the WWE
screen.
Hacker.
Yes, that's what Richard really is. But
You're WWE's version of Anonymous.
No, I am the hacker.
You're the hacker. Okay.
why have you been on TV, man? They took you
I've been
off.
doing the show. Haven't you noticed?
I know the timing of it. Yes, it makes sense. But here we are, another week in pro wrestling. So much to get into. We'll get into our rundown and review of this week in WWE, specifically Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. But first things first, let's get into some clickbait news. And a couple days ago, some sad news came out. WWE announced more releases within their company, and specifically, it was about 60 people were let go from the WWE. And just to specify, this is none of the WWE superstars were released this time around. It was specifically staffers who were in other departments that weren't really being used that much because of, unfortunately, the pandemic. And so this was a lot of people who were already on furlough. And so unfortunately, because of the pandemic, WWE is not doing other parts of the job that we're used to from them, you know, like with the live events, or I'm sure maybe in promotions and PR, all this different stuff. So there was a lot of people who've just been sitting at home on furlough, but I guess unfortunately a couple of days ago it was announced that a lot of them were just let go. So it was definitely sad news. It sucks seeing anyone lose their job, especially during this pandemic era. It's just it's very much hard times right now for everyone. But the biggest names that came out that a lot of people were making note of was Gerald Briscoe was let go, Mike Rotunda, and Sarah Stock. And so we'll just run down all three of them. So Richard, Sarah Stock, she was one of the like female coaches and trainers over at the Performance Center. Am I right?
Yeah, she was also former TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion.
Gotcha.
So, I believe with Zelina Vega.
Oh, that's right.
So,
yeah.
Very, very talented. I'm sure she'll land back on her feet. It doesn't mean, especially with people like Rotunda, Stock, and Briscoe, that, you know, when this pandemic's over or we figure things out, that they don't have jobs again after. It's just right now they can't afford to keep paying people that they can't use. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, that, and listen, I know there's a lot of people out there making comments like, oh, this is WWE's most profitable year right now with the TV deals that they have in store. And it's
it's the most profitable year because they're not touring and spending money on touring.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they're just saving money. But, I recently, my job went away, and I don't blame my boss for that. It's not, don't make WWE the villain just because you want to make WWE the villain. Use your head.
Yeah, it's listen, WWE is one of many businesses and companies around the world that are dealing with similar situations. So yeah, of course it sucks seeing anyone lose their job, and hopefully, once this pandemic turns around, a lot of these people's or work and job situations would improve for the better as well. Mike Rotunda, of course, we all know him by better in WWE fame as IRS, and of course, the father of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. That's a name we haven't mentioned too much in the last year, I think. But he was he a producer, an agent, or what was his job? Do you know as of late?
Agent producer.
Yeah, backstage stuff. So,
I've literally never heard anyone mention him agenting their matches, though, which is funny because it's always Steve Corino or Shawn Michaels or, any of the names we hear more of. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I wonder if Mike Rotunda had any involvement with Bray Wyatt's The Fiend character at all. I would love to know that, if he had any, or what does he think of it, like his son's career? Because I
met him once. Yeah. And it was WrestleMania weekend. Here, 31. Yeah. And I was driving around with Jim Ross, and we dropped him off at the hotel.
Yeah.
That everyone was staying at, and I couldn't go in, so I waited outside by our limo. Okay. And he came out of the car. I said hello. And he just kind of looked me up and down and walked away. And I was like, oh, he's a friendly guy.
He probably was like, oh, this guy, he owes me money or didn't pay taxes or something.
I didn't take it personally. I thought it was funny. So it's like, I would prefer to have that experience of IRS than oh, hey, how's it going? And a handshake. It's like, no, I got the heel.
Yeah. Kayfabe's still alive to this day. Obviously, the biggest name probably of all these releases was Gerald Briscoe. Gerald Briscoe.
Oh, Mr. McMahon.
Mr. McMahon.
Mr. McMahon.
Gerald Briscoe, God, he's been with the company since 1984, I think it was.
Yeah, since him and his brother sold their stock in the Georgia Championship Wrestling territory.
Part of the NWA at the time.
Part of the NWA, yes.
So, yeah, he's been with the company that whole time. So, 36 years?
Yeah, 36 years.
Man, so, God.
Since Black Saturday.
Yeah, he's seen it all in WWF and WWE. And I think, Richard, we were talking a little bit off the air, what he's been doing most recently in the last, 20 years, he's been like a recruiter, and he goes out and finds the
college athletes.
Yeah, wrestlers. Okay, because listen,
he grabs wrestlers. I believe he grabbed Chad Gable, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, the
Shelton
biggest
Benjamin,
one,
yeah.
Shelton Benjamin. So that's his specialty, is finding these people that you've never heard of, and then they make megastars out of them.
Yeah, and that's what's really cool. Because listen, there are two types of people, I think, that go into the Performance Center once they're signed with WWE. There are the indie darlings, people who've been cutting their craft on the independent scene, and then there are the non-wrestlers who are just great athletes that they have to really mold and show them step by step how to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah, and you got Mercedes Martinez on one end and Casey Catanzaro on the other.
Exactly. So, for Gerald Briscoe, kudos to him. He brought in a lot of the big name talents that you see to this day. So his job was very important as far as, I think, just the lifeblood of WWE, going out there and finding the next generation of talent. And as you said, Brock Lesnar, the biggest name that he recruited. So listen, it sucks. Like I said, anyone to see lose their job, you don't want to see anyone lose their job. But at the same time, part of me was like, he's 73 years old. I would imagine at this point in his life, he could probably just retire or, take it a little bit easy now. I would hope he's done well with his money. He's been working with the company for 36 years. I would hope he could just it's okay.
Well, hold on. I don't know if you know this, but Gerald Briscoe is active on Instagram.
Yes, I saw that.
And Twitter.
He's got a gorgeous house with this amazing garden, and he tells these old stories and then like stares at the camera. Is it still on? So if you don't follow Gerald Briscoe on Instagram, you should, because it's an absolute treat.
Well, now he has more free time to tell more stories. And that's what, I mean, a lot of these older wrestlers, former wrestlers, hopefully a lot of them would take advantage of social media and tell stories. I know, like, Sid Vicious, he got on Instagram earlier this summer, and he was posting these great stories. Like, he'll post a photo, and then, like, he'll explain what was going on here. And it was awesome. I think he launched a podcast at the time. But anyway, like, a lot of these older guys, I would love to, use social media just to tell more stories. Just a way of documenting just the history of pro wrestling. But yeah, I mean, of course, with Gerald Briscoe, obviously, with his time recruiting people, I think for all of us, we're around the same age. We grew up seeing him specifically. I mean, when he was with the NWA and doing his time wrestling there, it was either before we were born, so for most of us, so we didn't get to grow up with him as the wrestler. We grew up with him as one of Vince McMahon's stooges, him and Pat Patterson. That was such a special time for me, because you have Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Vince McMahon, and then Vince McMahon would have the two stooges doing the dirty work for him. So it's just, that whole storyline was just so much fun and entertaining. But Richard, for you, like, anything specific comes to mind as far as Briscoe as one of the Stooges?
The time that the Stooges took on the Mean Street Posse on Raw was hilarious. I think I've mentioned that on here before, but it's worth it anyway. If you haven't seen it, go out of your way to watch it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Patterson and Briscoe start throwing punches, the crowd completely loses their shit.
Yeah.
Because they're like two old guys that can still go pretty good. And that, or do you remember the King of the Ring hardcore title match where it was Patterson and Briscoe in evening gowns?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's the one I wanted to mention. That was a hilarious match.
I forgot about that one.
Briscoe looked so bizarre. Pat looked like he had done it before, but Briscoe...
Well, that's Pat Patterson.
Briscoe looked more comfortable than you would think he would look. So...
It was... I'm just trying. I'm gonna keep it safe and clean, not say anything. But anyway, it was it was always fun. Like, obviously Stone Cold stunning them, taking them out, and then even they would make appearances here and there on TV in more recent years.
And they had their share of the hardcore title too back then.
Yeah, and even more recently, was it last year? They were both 24/7 champions for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, Raw 25, right?
Yeah. So that was a lot of
something like that.
One of the special shows. So it was very cool. I mean, like, listen, and Gerald Briscoe, obviously, him and his brother are legends in the pro wrestling industry. They've done so much. And so, like I said,
both in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it sucks to see anyone lose their job. But at least, like, the word is Vince McMahon personally called him to tell him this. So, he is one of Vince McMahon's boys. So, Richard, as you said, maybe when things get better and turn around, maybe he can come back in some capacity down the road. Well,
with a track record like we listed off, you got to imagine he's coming back at some point for sure. Well,
also, I hope maybe if he does come back, maybe I'm just hypothetically speaking, in a part-time role, and then maybe you can hire someone a little bit younger. And
he's already a part-timer.
Okay, but they can get someone else with a fresh set of eyes that maybe can recruit people as well. I don't know. I don't know the whole behind the scenes inner workings.
Well, you want a job?
I can go out there. Let's go find some pro wrestlers. We're flying today. So, but it was cool. Like you say, he was very much active with WWE up until this time. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But like I said, it just sucks for any of them to lose a job, and we hope things turn around for the better in the near future. I'm curious of the other 60 people, if there's anyone else that I've dealt with over the years from like a PR standpoint. And so, like, I know a couple people that I worked with that were furloughed. So I hope, I haven't seen the full list of names anywhere yet. So I would love to kind of know more. Hopefully it's no one that I've become friendly with over the recent year. So, also moving on. So a little bit quick of, MLW news I always wanted to mention. So, lots been going on for MLW in the last couple of weeks. It was announced that they're having the restart. They're relaunching the promotion after being on hiatus for for the last 8 months because of this pandemic. So starting this October, they're going to be doing a bunch of TV tapings and airing new episodes in November. And you can find MLW on Wednesday nights on Fubo Sports Network. It's going to be Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, so 4 p.m. Pacific our time, and a replay at 10 p.m. Eastern. Fubo Sports Network, it's a free app that you can get on Roku, smart TVs, also on their website. So very easy to watch MLW, and they're doing their best to keep putting content out there in the meantime. But I'm excited for just MLW's restart. I know Court Bauer's been doing more press. Richard, you were telling me about that. He did a big interview over Sports Illustrated, and he says they're working on trying to figure out what to do. They're going to be doing empty arena matches for right now, but he's going to want to make sure it's going to have like a real gritty MMA type of environment, very similar to like a Raging Bull type setting. That's what he said, quote. And they hired a COVID compliance officer to help with all the testing. And they're debating what to do, if they want to call the new show or the relaunch, as far as keep calling it MLW Fusion or call it MLW Underground, going back to the old name. So a lot of stuff there. And also just one little tidbit. Davey Boy Smith, he announced in an interview recently that he plans to fulfill his MLW contract obligations. So there was a lot of last couple months as far as his status with the company was up in the air. So his contract's up in December.
So where's he going to go after that, Danny?
I mean, there were talks of him doing stuff in Impact Wrestling. I mean, AEW, of course, listen, we can say AEW, but it's like AEW roster is stacked right now. I don't know if there would be room for him and what type of wrestler that he is.
He could go on the United Wrestling Network and wrestle in the NWA.
Yeah, that'd be great for him. New Japan, I don't know if he can go back to New Japan because didn't he had a little bit of a falling out, or
pretty much.
But yeah, his time into with them, was it couple years ago, or a year and a half ago, he had that run with Lance Archer. But I'm just saying, I know he wanted to do stuff with Impact Wrestling, so that's always an option. Or Tom, as you said, maybe NWA in some capacity. So, but it's cool that he'll go back and finish out his time with MLW. His contract's up in December. So exciting stuff. We all love MLW around here. And last little bit tidbit we just want to acknowledge is, so this Tuesday, very exciting day for all of us NWA fans. So the United Wrestling Network, their new show, Primetime Live, debuts this Tuesday at 6 p.m. our time. And you can purchase it right now over on Fight TV. You can buy individual shows, or you can do a bundle and buy like the first 4 weeks for one big bundle price, which I recommend. That's what I'm going to be doing very soon. Richard, I know you bought that already in advance. It's going to be exciting. Richard, do you have kind of like a listing of some of the names and people appearing on the show?
Yeah, our main event is going to be Nick Aldis against Mike Bennett, formerly Mike Kanellis. They're also going to have Camille versus Heather Monroe. We're going to see Alexander Hammerstone defend the West Coast Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Our good pal Levi Shapiro and a bunch of guys I'm not familiar with. So but we'll see. Hopefully we have something to look forward to here.
But it's a stack looking card.
Yeah, so this is really cool. They're going to be filming it down in Long Beach and exclusively on pay-per-view. You can watch it, use the Fight TV app. But yeah, it's really cool because like Hammerstone, he's part of the MLW, but obviously they're not doing stuff right now. And we've seen members of the roster go off and work in other promotions like Brian Pillman Jr. and AEW and Filthy Tom Lawler doing stuff with New Japan. So I think it's really cool that Hammerstone is going to work on this Primetime Live show and represent the Bay Area, West Coast Pro Wrestling, and defend the championship, which he is the current champion of. And that's cool because for anyone who doesn't know, the United Wrestling Network, they also run and put on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, which does air up here in the Bay Area. And West Coast Pro Wrestling is one of the sponsors. So if you get what I'm getting, connecting all the dots here as far as West Coast Pro Wrestling, they're one of the sponsors for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
This is where you tell Tommy and I that you're bringing Jimbo back and getting rid of us, isn't it?
No, he's busy doing TV stuff now for them.
Oh, okay.
No, so, but no, I'm excited. So that's cool that people, other indie promotions that are part of the United Wrestling Network, their championships are being defended on this show as well, Primetime Live. And it's just exciting for NWA. Like, listen, they haven't done anything since the pandemic started. NWA Power hasn't done any new episodes. They've been trying to do stuff on YouTube, more content, but last week we did
get our return of the 10 pounds of gold, and they were doing a daily podcast with different members of the roster until the whole thing with David Lagana blew up.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting though. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, seeing Nick Aldis, the national treasure, defend the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship against Mike Bennett. Any predictions? Who's going to win here?
My money's on Aldis all day.
Absolutely. So, but I put Mike Bennett. If you follow him on Instagram, he's been working out like crazy since he was released from WWE, and he looks like in great shape. And so,
where's Maria?
Taking care of their two kids.
Oh, that's right.
So
the two barnacles.
So it's I'm looking forward to it just because Mike Bennett, he's hungry. If you follow him on social media, he's been like just saying how much he loves pro wrestling and giving love to all these other promotions out there. And I think for him, like that's one thing he said in some interviews was that he was frustrated with WWE, like he wasn't being used, and he's in his prime right now, and he wants to go out and put banger matches, and he hasn't been able to. So now that he's away from that, I think it'd be great to see him, this could be the first of many matches coming his way of like ultimate, very fun, over the top matches. So I'm looking
just like his work in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this matchup with him and Nick Aldis. I think it's going to be a very fun, great match. And, but yeah, no, I encourage everyone, if you can, please, pre-order, the bundle packages for Primetime Live, courtesy of the United Wrestling Network. It was also announced on social media that Thunder Rosa, the NWA Women's Champion, is going to be on the September 22nd episode, the second week. So it's cool. Like you said, if you're a fan of the NWA, and so like I said, it's a mixture of NWA talent from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and some independent people as well. So listen, we know there's a lot of wrestling out there. There's a lot of stuff that just trying to take
grasp.
To consume. But please support this out, because I think this really helps give a lot of other wrestlers who have been doing much during the pandemic something to do. So, looking forward to that. All right, let's move on over to this week in WWE TV. So let's jump into Monday Night Raw. And Richard, what was your initial takeaways from this week's episode?
I liked Raw. I thought Raw flew by pretty quick for me. From the brutal attacks by Drew McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
No one's good friend, Drew McIntyre. Enjoyed the Iconics match. It started off a little slow, but they picked it up. Mm-hmm. And by far my favorite thing is Cedric Alexander turning heel.
Yeah.
And finally we got a younger guy in the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
But man, that just felt right. Like before, you're kind of thinking like it's a good group to begin with, but it's missing something.
Yeah.
And before you start scratching your head, they give it to you, and it's just kind of like, oh yes.
Yeah. So
I was pumped after seeing that for the rest of the show, just because I was like, oh, this is good.
Totally. And no, you brought up a lot of good points there. So let's just run down the highlights of Raw. So as you said, yeah, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, they're going at it all throughout the episodes. I love that it was like, Raw was like going on, but then they'll cut away and you'll see Drew and Randy having some sort of altercation.
And McIntyre gave Orton like 3 claymores, am I right?
Yeah, so throughout the night. So very much payback for what Randy did to Drew a couple weeks ago with the punt kicks.
Yes.
3 punt kicks over the course of the episode of Raw. So I like it was like turning the tables and getting some payback for Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, the show started out with Randy Orton doing a promo. Drew comes out with the ambulance.
Yep. The sirens going off.
Everyone's like, thought Scott Steiner was back on Raw. With the
Holler if you hear me. You're big, bad, booty daddy.
With the ambulance. Richard, come on, you're a Steiner fan, right?
You're a Steiner, Mark.
I love Scotty.
Woo!
That's Freakzilla, baby.
Yeah, so he comes out, he claymores Claymore's Randy Orton. Then later on in the night, Randy Orton had a match against Keith Lee, but Drew came in, interfered, claymored him again. Match, no contest.
Yeah.
And then later on, we see Randy Orton trying to leave with his gear, and he's like rubbing his chin, like he's like, oh, like his chin hurts. So they're both having like chin issues with one another. So as he's trying to leave, Drew attacks him one more time and like starts pressing his face against the ring post. And then claymores him in that like secondary ring that's set up in the hallway.
Yeah, like a platform type
and
thing.
That's where I think they do a lot of their, like some of their interviews there and stuff. So I love this. So, Richard, like once again, we talked about this many times. The way Drew McIntyre has been booked as WWE champion, I love it as far as he's not only a strong winning competitor in the ring, but the way he presents himself outside the ring as well. Like, if someone's giving him crap, he'll give it right back to them. He'll attack them. Like, I think in the past, a lot of WWE champions in recent years have been booked very kind of soft or idiotic with some of their decision making, and like the heels are the ones who are coming off more cool and attacking and like looking cool in their ways, and like the baby faces always look kind of dumb and getting their ass kicked all the time. But Drew, he's being booked as a badass baby face.
And always getting the upper hand.
Yeah, so that's what I love about Drew McIntyre as WWE champion. Not only is he there every single week, he's kicking ass, but when the heels are trying to go after him, he's like, nah, I'm not taking your ass. I'm going to kick your ass right back.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. And so this rivalry has been awesome. Unfortunately, though, I am kind of worried at Clash of Champions that I think Randy might get the victory here. But we'll wait. We still got a couple more weeks to see how this plays out. But I love that Adam Pearce has been showing up on Raw as well. So Adam Pearce is on SmackDown and Raw. He's not like an official GM, but he is like
he's our loose authority figure.
Exactly. I love
He's the MVP right now for me.
Yes, he is so entertaining. He's telling Drew, like, get out of here. If you need to heal up. If you're not healed, you can't compete at Clash of Champions. And Drew's like, okay, I'm leaving. Then he
Scrap iron, baby.
He still shows up and kicks ass. So I love the relationship between the two of them. And yes, Adam Pearce doing an awesome job. Real quick, just want to say we saw Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura make an appearance during Street Profits post-match after they defeat Andrade and Angel Garza, and that tag team seems to be on the way out already, finally. But they pretty much so Richard, they announced the quarterly brand-to-brand invitational. It's back, but it's quarterly now. So every 3 months, I guess people can show up on either show. But yeah, they pretty much challenge Street Profits to a match next week on Raw. Let me ask you this, and I saw kind of some people on Twitter talk about it. The rumor is, do you think they should unify the tag team titles, Raw and SmackDown, into one?
And defend it like they do the women's titles?
I guess so, yeah, on both shows.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a missed opportunity in not having a 6-man tag team title. So,
okay.
Because they've, if they have all these 3-man groups, right? And they've had 3-man groups for since the Shield.
Yeah.
It's not been more than 4 other than now the Hurt Business and what was the one that Wade Barrett was in? With Rusev and Alberto.
The international...
yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
So, and it's you're guaranteed to use more people. And if someone's hurt, then they don't have to tag into the match.
New Day?
So
they were
New Day, there you go. Yeah. So I'd like to see something like that. And
didn't WWE used to have like a 3-person title?
In the 70s?
Okay.
Yeah, 6-man tag.
Yeah, 6-man. Okay, maybe they could do that. You can unify and have the tag titles on one show and maybe introduce a 6-man tag.
Well, if you had both of them and you float them, then you could have something like the New Day against
Hurt Business or
what's the NXT team with Escobar?
Oh, Legado del Fantasma.
That's the one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I think for the time being, since Thunderdome is their home base and Raw and SmackDown are both worked out of that same arena in Orlando. And listen, the tag team division is a little thin sometimes. So I think it makes sense. Maybe
it is when it's separated. If you look at it as they got the Usos, New Day,
Miz and Morrison,
Nakamura, and Sheamus, Otis, and Tucker, Undisputed Era. Like when you really break it down, like they have the best tag teams in the world there.
Totally.
It's just that they're not all on the same show.
Yeah, and so I think if you unify it, then maybe that's a way of really strengthening and hyping up the tag team division so they're not being spread out so thin. So I could see that. So, I mean, that was just a rumor. who knows if it actually happens or not. I mean, things change constantly with WWE behind the scenes. So, also, yeah, we saw Peyton Royce take on Billie Kay and got the win here. So we talked about last week, the Iconics officially broke up and Peyton Royce got a big victory here. Richard, I know he's still heartbroken over that. But after the match, they hugged it out. So I guess officially saying goodbye to each other in the ring. Peyton Royce looked awesome. Richard with the heart sign. Is that for Peyton or for Billie Kay? Or for both?
Either one.
Yes.
Whoever's single.
Yeah, probably Billie Kay. Right? You guys deal with Sean Spears in the other one. So, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, you would follow him. Mm-hmm. But no, Peyton Royce looked awesome. I mean, both look great. I mean, the back and forth in the ring, but Peyton Royce still looked great. She changed up her entrance a little bit. They both got different, like, generic theme songs right now, but Peyton's, the way she came out the ring, obviously a mixture of being sexy, but still looking very strong in the ring. So, this is as the rumors have been saying, it's the beginning of this big singles push for Peyton Royce. And Billie Kay, who knows what's next? I think she might be being traded to SmackDown, which we'll get into later on with some other trade news that came on out of SmackDown. So maybe I think that might be what the connection is. Right? Okay, not to foreshadow that topic, but I'll save that for later. And then, as you said, Cedric Alexander.
Wait, I just want to say real quick.
Don't sleep on Billie Kay just because Peyton Royce is getting a push. I think there's a ton of potential there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Billie gets a push of her own.
Yeah, and maybe if the rumors are suggesting maybe she gets traded to SmackDown, and like I just said a second ago, maybe with some other trade stuff going on Raw and SmackDown this week, maybe she's a part of that. But we'll save that for later on in the episode. But also, yeah, as Richard, as you mentioned, I think one of the big takeaways from Raw that we were all big fans of was, yeah, Cedric Alexander officially turned heel, turned on Apollo Crews, Ricochet, beat the crap out of them, and officially joined the Hurt Business. And so I love this move. I mean, we've been seeing the seeds being planted for weeks now as far as MVP constantly talking to Cedric Alexander saying, dude, you're just hanging out and catering. You're not doing anything. And pretty much was just trying to recruit him. And then finally he turned the tides and officially joined Hurt Business. So we saw them like throughout the night. It was like 3 segments as far as like Hurt Business doing the promo, the match, and then they came out later and like officially joined. So he got the official t-shirt. He's a part of the team now. And also, so we saw a 4-on-4 match, the 4 of them taking on Ricochet, Apollo Crews, and what's they're called? The Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
Viking Raiders, which unfortunately during the match we saw one of the members, Ivar hurt himself and he did the X sign. So hopefully it's not too serious, but I think it's something clavicle bone or something.
Yeah,
so
somewhere.
Hopefully he's not out of action for too long. But yeah, Richard and Tommy, I enjoyed this move because, listen, a lot of people are complaining that the Hurt Business are a bunch of old guys in their 40s and you're not pushing new talent. I know. Like, for me, this is great. Cedric Alexander, he's the young, fresh talent. Listen, I know Cedric's been wrestling for a long time himself, but he's younger compared to them. But he could be the fresh, young talent in this group that gets the push. And so very much, like, I was trying to listen, I know a lot of people are trying to connect Hurt Business. Is this going to be like a Nation of Domination 2.0? No, they're doing their own thing, which is fine.
Yeah, if you're thinking that it's just because they're all black, then shame on you.
Yeah.
You know, there can be more than one team that's all black, and they don't have to be compared.
Exactly.
So,
I was thinking this is more similar to maybe like Evolution.
Exactly.
As far as you got like the veteran, like MVP to like what was Ric Flair. Then you got
you got your Batista.
Yeah, like Bobby Lashley. You got Shelton Benjamin, who could be, I guess, like Triple H as far as a veteran. And then, yeah, Randy Orton to Cedric Alexander. So I'm excited for this combination now. Now, my only concern is
here's the other thing too. Like, I mean, I was thrilled right when he did it too, because you could see the look on his face was just like, oh, this feels good. But then he came back out later for the
I guess promo.
His promo on that, whatever that segment is.
Oh, the MVP lounge. Yeah.
MVP lounge.
VIP lounge.
And he just looked so much more comfortable as a heel than I've ever seen him as a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
He always just looked so nervous to say something. Here he looked cocky and like a bit of a douche, and it was just like, this is a good fit for him.
Yeah.
So,
also, you think about it, is finally this is his push. Like if this plays outright, this is a great push opportunity.
No matter what,
for him.
it's his push, because he's either going to stay a heel, or people are going to be looking at him thinking, when's he going to show them that he's not really part of the Hurt Business?
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, because we saw before that the VIP lounge was Shelton Benjamin, confronted him and said, like, are you really part of our group now? And kind of like calling him out. And Shelton's obviously showing signs of paranoia. Now, I wonder, is that going to be the main focus for the next couple of weeks? As far as, is Shelton, can he trust Cedric Alexander as a new member? Or maybe does Shelton eventually get kicked out himself? Like he's so paranoid that maybe Cedric and him fight it out and like Shelton leaves the group. I don't know. We'll see how this all plays out, but it's like, okay, we see a little bit of drama already. I mean, I would like to see them stay as a 4-piece, because I like 4-man groups.
Now, if they add a 5th guy, then it's like the Nation of Domination.
Yeah,
so
there you go. Okay, but I'm super excited as far as strength in numbers. So seeing him as a 4-piece, I think that's awesome. And I'm looking forward to see what happens next, and especially focus on the relationship between Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander moving forward, how that might be some potential drama down the road. Real quick, just want to say we saw Kevin Owens take on Aleister Black in Raw Underground.
That was good. That was very good.
They were going at it for a couple segments during commercial breaks. But then we saw, was it Dabo Kato? Am I saying his name right?
Sure.
Dabo Kato, he jumped in and just slammed the crap out of both of them.
Yep, I saw that.
So, I mean, it kind of pretty much in a no contest. But I did see online, I think they said, just because Dabo is appearing on Raw Underground, it's not an official call-up to Raw yet. He's still, I guess, he was working in Evolve, I think, he was signed to NXT.
He got signed to NXT. I think they cut him at one point and he went to Evolve, and then he came back to NXT, did the world's biggest Royal Rumble match or whatever that was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then hasn't been seen on TV since. So until now.
Yeah. So this is still, this is his focus right now is Raw Underground.
Well, and he did that at one of the WWE Netflix movies.
That's right, the main event, where it was called.
Yes.
But I was just going to say, I thought it was cool, Kevin Owens, when he showed up to Raw Underground, Shane McMahon was at the door, and they acknowledged their history, and they'd be like, hey, man, like, I haven't forgot about what you did to me. And he's like, water under the bridge. And I like how Kevin Owens told the security guy, but he's tall. Like, I cannot wait to see the security guard get into it in a match.
And KO said to Shane McMahon, I still think you're a douchebag.
Yeah, so that was great. So I can't wait to see somehow the security guard gets involved somehow, like does someone call him out and bring him in there. But anyway, hey, great matchup here. We'll see if this continues on Raw Underground, if it goes into the ring. So we'll see how that plays out. Real quick, we saw Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Both had handicap matches taking on the Riot Squad. Mm-hmm. So Shayna Baszler took on Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan by herself. She lost. Nia Jax jumped in and had her turn with the Riot Squad. The match didn't finish because Retribution came out, or at least they cut a promo. They got graphics now on the screen. Richard, your thoughts on just this Retribution promo? I don't know about you. I knew right away that was Dominik Dijakovic talking.
Yeah. No, I was amused by that you could tell that was pretty obvious. The other ones aren't as obvious. And I mean, I also like the handicap matches because, let's face it, Nia and Shayna are a Frankenstein tag team. So
yeah,
it makes sense that they would lose to an established tag team.
Yeah.
They're still young as a tag team.
Yeah.
The promo itself, I thought the promo was good for the content that they put in there. Kind of told you a little bit why they've been doing this, but then I think that they left us with more questions than answers, even though they gave a statement. It's their first statement, and leaves you wondering who these people are still.
Yeah.
Why they're doing this. Were they people that were let go? Were some of them people that were let go, or are they all just people that haven't been used and they want their retribution for that?
Yeah. So it's exciting. I mean, as far as Okay, we hear him talk now. But I want the reveal sooner than later because I'm worried that people are just going to get burnt out of like, okay, we're seeing them every week do something. And of course, we mentioned the other day that they're only going to be on Raw only now. So it's like, okay, let's move this story along. Like, let's get this reveal happening.
I mean, I love these kinds of things. Like we're seeing it on SmackDown right now with the woman that they keep.
Oh,
revealing.
yeah.
Which I figured out who it is already, because if you're looking carefully enough, you can see a tattoo on the arm, and it's the same as Carmella's.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So
we'll get into that later.
Okay. So like I said, I'm curious how much longer we're going to see them before they get revealed. I just like the male voice speaking because it was like, what's the word? Distorted. But you could tell it's Dominic Dijakovic just based on like the cadence. Now the woman's voice, a lot of people were predicting was that Mercedes Martinez. I don't know. With that. So we'll wait and see how this plays out. And then the main event, we saw Dominic Mysterio take on everyone's buddy Murphy in a match. And Dominic Mysterio got the victory. And then the
hell of a match too. Dominic is just, every time we see him, is just impressive as hell. So.
Dude, was it the frog splash from the monitors where the fans are, the TV screens over there?
Yeah,
amazing.
I saw that.
And kudos to just Murphy because it takes two to tango in the wrestling ring, so he did his part to make Dominic look great as well. But what was it? He slid out. Dominic slid out.
Yeah.
And caught Murphy and then flipped him into the table.
Right. Yes.
Oh my God, what a spot there! I mean, just the fact that like
very impressive
on the fly, Dominic is able to execute these power moves and these high flying spots for little experiences he has. It's just still amazing. And I know there's the day of SummerSlam on the network about Dominic Mysterio's first match. And we saw at the end of the match, the clip's all over Twitter right now, but Vince McMahon gave him a big hug and congratulated him, like getting that reaction out of everyone on his first match. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Just seeing Vince McMahon, show some love and attention to someone like that. So it's cool. Vince, he has an eye for talent, and I'm sure he sees big things. So, the fact that Dominic Mysterio is doing so well right now, like, I mean, no offense to like guys like Humberto Carrillo and some of these other guys that were trying to get pushes last year and beginning of this year, Dominic's taking their spot now. Like, I think he's going to be the talent that Vince is going to invest a lot of time into, and he has the Mysterio name. So, but yeah, so after the match, Rey Mysterio, his wife, his daughter, Dominic's sister, and also Dominic all grab kendo sticks and start beating the crap out of Buddy Murphy. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God. It was like,
that was still part of the match because the match ended when Murphy is like, I've had enough.
I quit.
I quit.
He's tied up in the ropes and he's like, I'm done. So
I have never seen more people online start to flock over someone like they did Rey Mysterio's daughter after that show.
Yeah.
Because it was who is this? What is this creature on our screen?
But then other people are like, but it was funny because other people were like posting the old photos of her from like 10 years ago, 11 years ago on SmackDown. It's like that little girl, that's her all grown up now. Yeah. and God, I was reading some of the comments and people were like, oh, why not someone put the her handle up there? And then some other people are like, I got you. And they're putting her Twitter handle so they can follow her. So like, I believe in the last week, her social media following is probably improved drastically. So no, but I'm okay. Listen, you know me. I always notice like, these little odd things. Why was half her shirt tucked in? Did you notice that?
Kids.
I don't know. It was like half tucked in. I don't know why. I was like, is that some new fashion statement? Like, am I too old now to understand what's going on with these kids' new fashion trends today? But anyway,
I mean, I'm doing that right now. You just can't see it. I'm not going to show you.
Do you think
I'm sitting down?
Do you know if she has any interest in pursuing wrestling herself? I don't
know. I think she's. I don't know. I didn't see anything that would indicate that.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I know she has a big Instagram following, so I wonder if she's going to pursue wrestling or she's just going to be an influencer online. So anyway, listen, it was like I enjoyed Raw for the most part. It moved along very well. A lot of great segments. I just worried though they're kind of copy and paste the same matchups over and over. So hopefully,
some of them, yeah.
Mysterio, like Street Profits and Angel Garza and Andrade, like that's been going on forever. It's like, let's move on now.
I'm curious as to when they finally give us retribution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm ready for this to be a group so we can get some more matches on Raw. But I mean, Raw was still great, like you said. The show went by really quick for me. It's just like you said, I just want to see something different. And we're going to see that this week too. So
what they call it, in your face, Raw in your face this week.
I'm excited for the main event.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be really good. It's Keith Lee and
Drew McIntyre.
Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre. We got tag team champions against tag team champions, and Mickie James is going up against Asuka for the women's championship.
Yeah,
payback,
which confused me because I thought that was Clash of Champions.
No, they haven't announced a matchup for her yet. It'll probably be a rematch. That's probably
hopefully.
But yeah, no, Asuka wants payback for the butt slap on Raw this week. The butt tag
that got my my Instagram a lot of attention.
I was going to say, nice fall, Richard.
My God, I because I look at the insights for the videos, and that video was shared and saved by quite a few accounts. Probably a couple thousand more than people even like that video.
The same people who were looking at Ray's daughter.
Yeah.
All right, let's move it on over to Wednesday night. No, excuse me. Wait, was it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Super Tuesday Part 2. NXT was on. And listen, just for time constraints and whatnot, it was pretty much a 2-match show. Am I right, Richard?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first match out of the gates was for the NXT Championship. Finn Balor taking on Adam Cole. So a lot of people were calling this sudden death, overtime for the Iron Man match from the week before. Mm-hmm. So, and I was actually I was like, at first, like, really? They're starting out the show with this and not saving it for the end? But it makes sense because the end was the main event of Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez in a steel cage match. And listen, putting up a steel cage takes a lot of work. So usually you save that to the very end. So that way you don't have to set it up and take it down during the course of a show. So I enjoyed that the first match out of the gates was the NXT Championship because literally it's a continuation because they left you off on that cliffhanger last week and boom, right into the main, this championship match here.
Yeah, you're right. They bookended it really well like that.
Exactly. So
I didn't even think about that. That's the last thing you saw and the first thing you saw. That's good.
Yeah. So Richard, your thoughts on this match here?
I mean, I can appreciate how good it was, but at the same time, I had more people sending me text messages spoiling the match before I even saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was just kind of like, well, that's a bummer. Because it was the first match, but it was like, if you have satellite, you get it 2 hours ahead of cable.
Yeah, and Tommy and I were watching it early too because we were using Xfinity Go TV channels and we're watching USA Network 3 hours early, so we were able to watch it live, but we weren't posting.
No, I know.
Spoilers, but no.
It wasn't you guys. It was just either people that are friends or some of my followers, and it was just like, what the hell? Why is everyone telling me this?
Yeah. So
there's 4 or 5 people that just like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But no. So, but I enjoyed the match. Shit. I mean that coup de grace is just brutal, man. That I don't know how he's not killing people doing that.
I mean, listen, come on. They're both pros. They're two of the best at what they do right now in today's generation. So, of course, they're going to go out there and just deliver a kick-ass match. And it's also cool. A lot of people are, it's a continuation. Oh, it's Bullet Club members, former Bullet Club members going at it here. But, Tommy, what were your thoughts on this match?
Look, it was a great match. I thought it was, just a great wrestling match. It was refreshing to see professionals going at it one-on-one, to see their talent, no gimmicks or objects or, stuff like that, They just worked. It was 30 minutes of pure professional wrestling that I crave, that I salivate. Yeah. And, they built it, with mat wrestling. It was great reversals. The chin lock that Finn put on Adam Cole, with the torque he put so much into it, it just looked great. It was just, their body language was great. Adam Cole selling was terrific and great false finishes. And they were even out on the floor, to pick up and the pace, with the break spots and, and just the way Finn was selling in the knee, and just Cole was putting him in the figure 4 leg lock, and the way that, he gives Cole the coup de grace, and to capitalize his injured knee, but he, Cole kicks out of the coup de grace, which was unheard of, and
Tommy, did you agent that match?
Well, anyway.
Yes, he did. He told Shawn Michaels, no, you're not doing it. It's my turn.
But, Cole hits him with the super kick, and he draws up, and, Finn Balor kicks out of the last shot. He goes for the Panama Sunrise, and he blocked it. He gives him and then Cole blocks the 1916, and then, the biggest spot of them all, the biggest bump was the finish, with the inverted six. They were just both
the 1916.
Yeah, they were both jockeying for position on the top rope right there, and he hits him with the 1916. The Avalanche 1916, and boom, that's it.
Yeah,
it's over, and it's just so refreshing to see something so simple like that. It was just a great wrestling match.
Yeah, no, as Tommy, the play-by-play every moment from that match. No, but no, listen, no, thank you, Tommy, for that. But no, I'm just saying, as Tommy pointed out, I mean, just that finish was great as far as the 1916 from off the top rope to really just deliver just a hard-hitting finish to that match. Like, I've never seen Finn deliver his finisher from the top rope like that.
So I think I've seen just about, if not all, of Finn Balor's WWE matches, and I don't recall him doing that in the past. So that was a first for me.
Yeah, seeing him land the 1916 from the top rope, like I said, really put the exclamation point to the finisher and just really declare him, or, he got the win there. So it's just really cool. Finn Balor's now 2-time NXT champion. Congrats to him, and I think we're all excited to see what he could do next. I mean, hopefully one day someone does maybe a shoot interview and maybe explains what was the original plan. If Karrion Kross never got injured, what was the plan going to be? Was he going to go on this big winning streak? Because I was thinking what maybe would have happened is Karrion Kross is just dominating as NXT champion, and then Finn Balor is the one to dethrone him, but he has to go back to being the oh my God, what's the
Demon?
The Demon. He has to go back to Demon Balor, and that's he doesn't use it too much right now. But when he does,
he hasn't used it in more than a year.
When he does use it, though, it's like a guaranteed victory. So
here you go.
It's very protected.
The last time he used it was that match he had against AJ Styles.
Oh yeah,
how long ago was that? That's 2 years almost.
Yeah, man. So I'm just saying, like, it's a protected part of his character. So when he does bust it out, it's like a guaranteed victory. So I was just anticipating that Demon Balor was going to be the one to dethrone Karrion Kross, but we'll never see that for now, at least. So we'll see how that plays out in the near future. But anyway, I'm excited for this new era of Finn Balor as NXT champion. That was really cool. They showed that backstage segment, all of them in the hallway, Triple H hugging him, shaking Adam Cole's hand, and Adam Cole shook Finn Balor's hand and said, hey, great match. And obviously his body language and his tone, very babyface-esque. So, Richard, do you think Adam Cole, between the Pat McAfee stuff and how he's kind of conducted himself in this match with Finn Balor, gave him the too sweet as well, do you think he's a babyface now?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I wonder if he'll, like, he's been acting babyface, but I wouldn't be surprised maybe next week on NXT.
They don't need another babyface in that top contender spot unless they have plans to put the belt back on Adam Cole, or Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era breaking up.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what's next for Adam Cole, though. Where does he go from here? I'm sure he might take like a week off or something, and then, they'll make a big, like, return segment for him or something. But yeah, I'm kind of
here's how you know that he's a babyface. They win their War Games match.
Yeah, that's true. And that's it. I'm great. Like, I wonder who's going to be in the War Games match. I mean, I know it's looking ahead already to November, but I mean, Undisputed Era has been in the first 3 of them, so I wonder if they try to change it up and have a new set of teams in there. Unless they do like 3-on-3-on-3, like the first one, maybe Legado del Fantasma and, like, I don't know, Breezango or something. I don't know, whoever else. But, I mean, that's way down the line thinking about that. But,
that wouldn't be, though. That's the same weekend as Survivor Series.
Yeah. So what, 2 months from now, roughly?
Well, isn't that the next one after Clash of Champions?
It's November.
Okay.
Hell in a Cell is supposed to be October. We'll see
how are they doing that?
Yeah, with no crowd. I don't know. We'll see. And that got bumped up to end of October. It was supposed to be like November 1st, day after Halloween, but now it's going to be in October. Dude, by the way, I'm just throwing this out there. Do you think NXT, since they're reusing a lot of the old WCW names, do you think they should do Halloween Havoc?
I think anyone, SmackDown, Raw, whatever, they should just make that an event anyway.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. I'm just putting it out there. Listen, I know they do.
It's a missed opportunity because they do those costume matches every once in a while each year. So, why not have some real matches and make a real show of it? Unless it's on like a Monday, Friday, or Wednesday. So,
listen, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just throwing it out there. They do like their counter programming. I know AEW Dynamite is doing their 1-year anniversary. I think October 17th, somewhere in October. I wouldn't be surprised if they make that like a Halloween Havoc special for NXT, like Great American Bash. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just throwing it out there. But then the main event, we saw, as we just mentioned, Rhea Ripley taking on Mercedes Martinez in a steel cage match. Man, great match here. Richard, I know you were already kind of teasing on Instagram.
Oh, I spoiled it on Instagram. This is my match of the week.
Please explain why.
This was women's violence at its best.
Yes.
It was. I mean, it started off hot with Rhea slamming the door and Mercedes' face. They brought weapons in.
Robert Stone got involved.
Robert Stone got involved and pummeled and
left unconscious.
Goddamn, that riptide into the table at the end was the cherry on top. It was great.
I loved it.
Yeah, Robert Stone, he was climbing up top, and he was
that is hardcore wrestling at its best.
Yeah.
That is violence. It's just great, and they're two badass, mean women,
and they were just inflicting punishment on each other.
And Rhea Ripley hit Robert Stone and left him hanging up the top there.
Yeah.
That was great.
Well,
but
it never crossed my mind until you said it about potentially Mercedes Martinez being a part of Retribution. Because Robert Stone put something out, or someone commented about Mercedes Martinez, and Robert Stone said she's no part of my brand anymore.
Yeah, I saw that on the the day after.
But if she's in Retribution, that's someone in that group that can talk. So that would be nice to have. God damn it, is it Dijak? Whatever his name
Dominic
is.
Dijakovic.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know him as Donovan Dijak, so from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
He's not great on the mic at all. So someone like her would be a good. Yeah, someone like her would be a good voice for that group.
Yeah. So as you just mentioned, so a lot of people think, oh, is she going to be part of Retribution? And so some people are speculating, well, maybe this was her goodbye match in NXT in her short period of time so far. The fact Rhea Ripley won in such big fashion, the powerbomb, the riptide through the table, Mercedes Martinez lost, so she's putting over Rhea Ripley on her way out. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, Mercedes Martinez, she debuted originally, had a couple matches, then went away, and then re-debuted this last time around for the last few months. So yeah, she's had a really short run in NXT total. But listen,
she's a seasoned pro.
Exactly, that too. And I'm sure Vince or whoever the powers that be wants more female bodies up on Raw and SmackDown, maybe more competitors for Asuka at some point, or maybe Bayley. But it makes probably more sense for maybe Asuka, just if she could work more heel against Asuka as the baby face. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's next for Mercedes Martinez. So it looks like this short rivalry with Rhea Ripley is done. And Rhea Ripley, she can easily move on over to Io Shirai, because remember, she was eyeballing her a couple weeks ago for the championship. And I think Io, she's going to take on Shotzi this week. And, we love Shotzi. She's a Bay Area girl, but I think Io's going to get the victory here because they had their little altercation this past week. So, I think Io and Rhea Ripley is going to be the matchup next, the next big program for them. NXT, a lot of fun this week. And
another great video package by Timothy Thatcher, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to take on
Damian Priest for the North American title
next week. So awesome.
Looking forward to it.
And also something, if you haven't known already, I mean, we've been posting this on our social media channels. NXT UK gets their big relaunch this Thursday, September 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. our time here on the West Coast, Pacific time, on the WWE Network. And Richard, I know you and I and Tommy, we were talking off the air. We're all super excited for this. For me personally, I didn't watch a lot of NXT UK previously, only really watched their takeovers. But I think if you're someone like me, this is a great time to jump back in. It's the relaunch. So I think it's like a fresh start. So I think for any of you out there who didn't watch it on the regular, please tune in and watch it. I mean, it's Thursday, so at least it's a night that WWE doesn't have other programming going on. So hopefully it's an easy consumption for you guys. I know it's pretty exciting. So it's they're going to be doing it at one of the studios they partner with. Let's see. Tommy, check Triple H's Instagram. He posted a video of the studio that they're going to be doing their matches out of with no audience, but it looks beautiful.
Let's just tell everyone to go. Let's just tell the listeners to go over to Triple H's Instagram and check it out. It looks like a museum. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the video is really cool. But also the big announcement this week. So they announced a new championship or title, I should say.
It's BT Sports state of the art facility.
Yeah, that's their partner over in the UK. So they announced that their 8 superstars from NXT UK are going to battle out in to a tournament to crown the first ever NXT UK Heritage Cup. And these 8 superstars are going to be competing in this tournament that's going to be under British rounds rules. Mm-hmm. And the 8 superstars are going to be Flash Morgan Webster, Noam Dar, Alexander Wolf, A-Kid, the Bomber, Dave Mustaine, Trent Seven, Joseph Connors, and they're going to have a wild card entrant as well that hasn't yet to be determined. But it's cool. William Regal did the video package for this, and the British round rules are going to be, all the matches are going to be 6 3-minute rounds, 2 out of 3 falls won by pinfall, submission, count out. Once the fall occurs, the round ends. The match ends once a wrestler has 2 falls. So it's going to be really cool. A 20-second break.
This is a stipulation match that NXT UK General Manager Johnny Saint perfected for 20 years, I think, in World of Sport. He never lost his championship in 20 or 30 years or something like that. So
yeah, that's awesome. I know William Regal's a big fan of it. He's done it as well.
And those of you that were watching Impact at the time when Aaron Stevens, Damian Sandow, whatever you want to call him, I can't remember the belt, what they were calling the belt at the time, but he was defending it.
Top of the mountain, or King of the Mountain?
King of the Mountain, yeah. He was defending the belt in the British style rules when he had Drake Maverick as his butler.
Nice, okay. Yeah, this is exciting. So this NXT UK Heritage Cup. So it's a new title for NXT UK, but it's not going to be the traditional, like a belt that they're going to wear for the championship. It's actual cup. It looks like a Stanley Cup for us here in America. And so, yeah,
like
whoever,
the Crockett Cup.
Yeah, so whoever wins it, they're defending that cup now. So it's a championship, but it's not going to involve a belt. So it's a little bit interesting presentation, I think, moving forward. And then obviously,
well, that's also something that wrestling used to do before we had belts. They had trophies.
They had the Opera Cup.
And instead of carrying a trophy around everywhere and it getting damaged whenever they were going from town to town, they decided on changing it to gold belts.
Oh, like this one here, this belt here.
That's plastic.
It's a real championship. I got at Walmart. It's my wing eagle.
Hold it like a referee. Hold it like a referee.
There we go. This is why we need to do In The Kliq in video, streaming videos. We can have these jokes among ourselves that everyone can enjoy. But anyway, thank you for the heart. But anyway, we're all excited. NXT UK getting back relaunched this Thursday on the WWE Network. Also, we're just all excited because we get to see Walter again. Richard, I haven't told you this. Tommy's been like on such a German kick lately.
He's told me.
Oh, okay. He made bratwurst last night. He's like in his whole German kick right now. Like, so
drinking my Polonier Munich lager.
Getting excited for the return of Walter and Imperium. So we're all excited to see NXT UK get back. So we encourage everyone to listen.
Is he wearing a pointy hat right now?
No, he's not. No. So,
nine.
So we're excited for that, and we'll do our best maybe to review some of the stuff on NXT UK as well. We already have enough stuff to talk about. We haven't talked about Impact in weeks now, just because there's been so much other stuff going on.
No one cares.
All right, let's jump on over to Friday night SmackDown. A very fun show, action packed. Like, listen, SmackDown, I think we all can agree for the last couple of weeks has been one of, if not the top show of the week. Richard, your thoughts on this week's episode of SmackDown?
Thought it was really good. I thought the matches felt a little bit clunky to me, but the promos and the backstage segments were all like really, really entertaining this week. In terms of in-ring action, my highlight would probably be Nakamura and Cesaro against the Lucha House Party, which I think people are sleeping on how good Lucha House Party is, because lately they've been really, really good.
Yeah, and they're getting a little more storyline as far as the deception between the group, as far as Kalisto claiming to be the leader of the group and the other two guys looking at him like, WTF, man, like, what the hell? And they're all been kind of arguing the last couple of weeks. So will Lucha House Party eventually break up? I don't know. Maybe they should stick together and go with Richard's idea of the 6-man tag title. They could be the first ever winners of that. I don't know, but
sure.
But yeah, no, a lot of great promos and story building moving along on this episode of SmackDown. So we saw Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, their great promo in the beginning of the show, pretty much acknowledging, yeah, we're family, we love each other, but Roman Reigns said, I'm still going to beat your ass, and then it's all love afterwards, and Jey Uso's looking at him like, what the hell, man? So, very cool, just altercation, just solidifying Roman is a heel, like he's talking crap to his own family, and then, it was cool that Jey Uso told Paul Heyman, like, hey, you go way back with my family, so it's all love for you. So I didn't know the full history, but I saw online that, yeah, Paul Heyman used to manage Rikishi.
And Samu.
Yeah, back in the day. So that's very cool. So
Samoan squat team.
Yeah, so I have to share that photo, or maybe Richard, I sent it to you. Maybe you can post on your page as well at some point. But also, yeah, King Corbin, Sheamus came out and pretty much challenged them to a match for the main event. As you said, Jeff Hardy took on AJ Styles in a no contest for the IC title. Sami Zayn came out, still complaining that he's the champion. So what do you think this is going to lead to? Do you think it's going to lead to a triple threat
ladder match
for the IC title hanging? I think so as well. So I think Clash of Champions, that'd be a great spot for it. As you said, Shinsuke Cesaro lost to Lucha House Party. Street Profits showed up in the championship lounge, having their own party there and distracted them. Bayley, wow. She came out to the ring. What a promo she cut. Pretty much explained her actions and why she beat up Sasha last week, which, by the way, that segment last week was the highest rated part of SmackDown last week. Bayley beating up Sasha Banks. So,
and they got a pretty decent rating last week, too.
Yeah, so it should, dude, this rivalry is money. People love it. So, I saw somewhere online that Sasha was supposed to come back next week's episode of SmackDown. I'm like, no, don't rush it back so soon. I want Sasha to be off TV for months. Have her come back as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. Have her win the Royal Rumble and challenge Bayley for the SmackDown Championship Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Let that main event that next year's WrestleMania, and they can reenact and redo their great takeover match. So
I don't see that as a main event.
Okay, maybe not main event, but save it for that's a WrestleMania type match.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you wanted to main event Survivor Series or SummerSlam, like I could see that, but not Mania, not those two.
Okay, but it deserves to be on a big stage.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at. So, but yeah, your thoughts on her promo this week?
Well, there's also Hell in a Cell coming up, like you said. And that could be fun too. I mean, it's not a match. I mean, it wouldn't be tainted or spoiled to have that match there and then also have it on a big pay-per-view, but big 4 pay-per-view, but I could see that and that being good. Bayley, and because Bayley, I love this side of Bayley. I didn't think it was in her, and boy, she's doing good with it.
Yeah,
this was just like really, really bad ego trip. So
yeah, she just pretty much said like Sasha. She thought Sasha was just using her to get her championship, and then she said, "Tricks on you. I was using you for all my success." I was like, "Wow, damn." So it's very much a hated relationship right now, and Bayley's promo was awesome.
And then Bayley, for no reason, attacks Nikki Cross before a match.
Yeah, so Nikki Cross came out right afterwards to start. She was starting up the match for it was a fatal 4-way for to decide the number 1 contender for Clash of Champions to take on Bayley. So it was Nikki Cross, Tamina, Lacey Evans, and Alexa Bliss. And during the match, Alexa Bliss got into a trance. I think when was it Michael Cole said Bray Wyatt or something, she heard it. And she just snapped and went to this trance and was like staring off in the distance, and then grabbed Nikki Cross, kissed her, and did the Sister Abigail on her, took her out, and then she just walked away during the commercial break. So, I mean, Alexa Bliss storyline, I like where it's going. It's something different. It shows, once again, when you're under the presence of the Fiend Bray Wyatt, things happen to people and they change. So I'm really intrigued how this is going to play out. But Nikki Cross eventually did get the victory, so she'll challenge Bayley again. They do have history. They fought each other not too long ago. Was it at Extreme Rules or No. Was it? It was one or Money in the Bank. It was one of the recent pay-per-views, so that they took on each other. Also, real quick, we saw Otis defeat John Morrison in a one-on-one match. Miz stole the briefcase, ran off, but once again, Otis outsmarted them. The briefcase was empty; it was just an apple, and Otis had the contract still in his possession. So, where do you think this is going, Richard? Like, I saw some people online speculating.
It's a comedy angle, so I got no idea where it's going.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they Morrison challenges Otis for the briefcase.
Oh, that I like that. Also, I just like to say that I thought Otis looked really, really good in this match.
He's been losing weight, man. I don't know if you noticed, like his belly is not hanging out. I was just going to say, because he was when he hit that Vader bomb to get the win, it was. He got some really good air on it. Yeah.
And I was like, God, he's moving better than I've seen him move in quite a while.
Yeah, like he's been losing weight. Like his belly's not hanging out over his trunks. He's like able to tuck it in. tuck it into his trunks. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Miz and Morrison con Otis into putting the briefcase on the line in some match, and then they win. And then they have the possession of the contracts. That's a way of getting it off Otis. I'm a little.
I like that because I don't see Otis in the title picture.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, what should Otis do? Should he try to take on Roman Reigns, cash in on Roman Reigns, or do you have Miz and Morrison? Probably Morrison win it and gets the possession of it, and he tries to take it on Roman Reigns and loses badly. Because I don't see Roman Reigns losing the title at all to whoever the Money in the Bank contract winner is. Roman is going to be holding that belt for a long time. I predict. Because there's rumors that maybe The Rock is going to challenge him at WrestleMania for the Universal title. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But speaking of Otis, and of course his peach, Mandy Rose, it was announced on Talking Smack on Saturday morning that The Miz, with his powers of influence and the people he knows over the USA Network, he made a trade and traded Mandy Rose from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. So, Richard, your thoughts on Mandy Rose leaving SmackDown for Monday nights?
I think it's probably, you look at it two ways. You look at it as the performer, she has some stiff competition up there. But at the same time, you only get better when you're in the ring with better people than you. So I think in a couple months, I think we're going to see a better Mandy Rose.
Yeah. Also, if you think about
it, she's better than people give her credit for anyway. There's people that there's people that kind of crap on the people that aren't at that Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch level that are like Carmella. Carmella's when she started getting in the ring at NXT, she was tremendous. And she comes up to the main roster and people just think of her some dumb bimbo, but it's like, no, Carmella's pretty good, and so is Mandy Rose. So don't shit on them just because they're not in there with better people.
Yeah, I'm curious. So a couple things, like one, like, oh my God, people are worried that like Otis and her, the story is done. Well, for kayfabe purposes, Mandy put on, I think, Twitter like a screenshot of a note and said, she called out The Miz and like, how dare you do this? Like, I had my best moment of my career at SummerSlam. Then for the last 3 weeks, I've been on TV, and then you do this to me. But listen, it's okay. I'll go to Mondays. There's still 7 days in the week for me to spend time with Otis. So for kayfabe purposes, it's like, okay, she works one
Who
night.
says that Otis isn't going to Raw? So.
Maybe, yeah, that too. I mean, there's supposed to be a draft coming up at some point in the near future. But for kayfabe purpose, she's just saying, listen, I'll work one night. He works another night. We still have the rest of the week to hang out together. So that justifies their relationship still existing. But also, non-kayfabe, apparently the woman that wrote the storyline for Otis and Mandy was let go. So maybe WWE creative feels like they just don't know what else to do with them. So they're like, okay, let's split them up, and they go down their own separate paths now. So I don't know. We'll see how that happens. But so going back to earlier, I wonder, they didn't say who she was traded for. I would not be surprised if maybe Billie Kay is the one that is the trade in return for SmackDown. That'd
be a good trade.
Peyton could do her thing on Raw, and Mandy, SmackDown gets Billie Kay. And who knows, maybe if Mercedes Martinez does get called up, maybe she goes to SmackDown. But then again, if she is part of Retribution, that's a Monday Night Raw thing. So I don't know, but I'm saying there's some more new players coming along for the women's division. Overall, I'm very excited. We've been seeing these vignettes of a blonde woman. We see just her backside, not her face. As you mentioned earlier, it's probably Carmella because of the tattoo on her one arm.
Oh, it is. I already confirmed. I got a photo proof of it for you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I shared an Instagram story of it as well the other day. So, but yeah, it's Carmella because of the tattoo, and she hasn't been on TV in a while, so she's probably getting some sort of repackage, kind of like this. I don't know what you want to call it. Like she's like this sexy, wearing fur coat. I don't know what kind of gimmick this is going to be. Maybe this was. Remember, didn't Vince want Lana to do this, or Emma years ago? Yeah, so maybe this is that character finally being used by someone else. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, our bets are it's probably going to be Carmella. So it's going to be interesting. And then a couple more things real quick. So we saw the Firefly Funhouse make its return with Bray Wyatt, and it was teased that he was going to introduce a new character. This character was some parrot in a box, but it was dead because he didn't put holes in it. So he was like all bummed. But then we saw Vince McMahon's puppet, the devil puppet, come out, and it says he has a new special advisor to the Firefly Funhouse, a character called Wobbly Walrus. And I laughed out loud when I saw this puppet.
I did too, because the eyes were creepy.
Yeah, dude. And I immediately texted Tommy, and I thought it was Kevin Dunn based on the teeth, because Jim Cornette has called a lot of names to Kevin Dunn.
Bucky Tooth Beaver.
Yeah, so I thought it was a play on that because of the teeth. But then you look more closely at the rest of the body and the hairline, the bald head. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be Paul Heyman. And it makes more sense because Paul Heyman with Roman took the championship away from Bray Wyatt. So, so it looks like this is Bray's new character making fun of Paul Heyman in the Funhouse. So your thoughts on this puppet?
I don't know. I was amused by it. I don't have any thoughts other than that.
So yeah, I wonder if we're going to see more of it throughout the weeks to come, and maybe there's a rematch in store with him and Roman Reigns at some point. So
SmackDown hasn't quite got that magic that the Firefly Funhouse had on Raw. So
you think so? Really?
It was more entertaining on Raw.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. No, I it's been a little hit or miss on some of the characters that they've been using up on there.
It had more time. Like here, it's only going to be about a minute and a half, and on Raw they did like 5-10 minute segments with the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah. That's true. I hear you. And then last but not least, we saw the main event: Roman Reigns and his cousin Jey Uso taking on Sheamus King Corbin. It was pretty much a handicap match. The majority of it, Jey Uso fighting by himself.
I kind of skipped it because I saw there was only 6 minutes when they got in the ring.
Yeah.
There was 6 minutes left, so I was just, I'm done.
Roman Reigns, very much like Payback, came out at the very end, and Jey Uso was getting some momentum going, and he was going to go for the finish, but Roman came at the very end, tagged himself in, did a spear, and won the match for them, and looked over at his cousins like, I won this for us. And then they were walking up the ramp, and Roman held up the Universal title. Jey put his hand up over the title as well, and Roman snatched it away and looking at him like, dude, don't touch my title. So it's adding more intensity or tension between the two of them.
I'm looking forward to that match.
Yeah.
I know how it's going to go, but at the same time, I'm interested in it.
Yeah, totally. It's good. I mean, obviously, there's no chance in hell Jey Uso's winning this. He's going to get a beatdown at Clash of Champions. But no.
But he'll try to make it competitive, though.
Yeah, and I think it's going to add Roman Reigns a lot more heat as this new heel persona of himself. So, hey, like I said, another fun episode of SmackDown here. And before we go home, kind of a little bit of a new segment, Richard. This was kind of an idea of yours. So what we're going to do is before we wrap up the show like we normally do with our show of the week and the match of the week, something very special. We want to give some time to Tommy to give his thoughts.
To all of us.
To all of us. To all the Kliqsters out there, some recommendations of things to watch on the WWE Network. So Tommy.
Or anywhere. All three of us got one, right? You got one, Danny?
Oh, yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, for reminding me. So, Tommy, I'll start with you. Go ahead and list off a couple of things you recommend to watch on the WWE Network.
So, for anyone that wants to watch the WWE Network and you want to watch the in-ring stuff, look at the independents category. And what I recommend is this promotion that's been around since 2000, based in Germany, called Westside Extreme Wrestling. I think they're a great promotion. They've been around for 20 years now. I mean, a lot of the who's who have wrestled there, like Walter, Timothy Thatcher, Daniel Bryan, and so on. I was watching one of their events they had recently called The Shortcut to the Top.
Okay.
And the main event they had was their Unified World Champion, Bobby Guns, against Tristan Archer from France, and I thought they had a really good match. It was very superb, technical type of match, and that's one of them. Along with, I was watching Progress, Chapter 77.
Okay.
It was Walter versus Zack Sabre Jr. That was another great match. If you're a fan of, like, Carl Gotch versus Antonio Inoki type of match, that's the type of match I recommend.
Okay.
And WXW as well, but they were in Toronto last August.
Okay.
Ambition 11 was the name of the event. Walter versus Timothy Thatcher was a great technical clinic, along with Tyson Dukes versus Yuki Ishikawa. Two great matches. Highly recommend.
Oh, cool. And Tommy, I recommend, how about this? Take what you just said, put it on your Twitter at IronFist1982, and then I'll retweet it as well at In The Kliq. So
all right.
Go ahead after we're done recording, put that up on Twitter and say this is your recommendations, and we'll put it up there on social as well. Richard, do you have any picks, recommendations on the network?
I am going to recommend a documentary for all you fine folks out there. It's called, what is it called? You Can't Kill David Arquette.
Okay.
And it's David Arquette's retribution story. If you are a fan of David Arquette or you're not a fan of David Arquette, this will make you a fan of David Arquette. So highly, highly recommend it. He fully lists off all the shit that people have said to him for years since WCW and addresses it face on, accepts it, and redeems himself. So he is the leader of Retribution.
Is this it's on demand, right?
I bought it on Prime.
Okay, cool. I'll check. I have Apple TV, so I'll check if I can just buy it on Apple. That way, I'll check it out. I want to watch it. We all lived through that when he was WCW champion 20 years ago, and I mean that was arguably the downfall of WCW.
They cover that in there with Bischoff and DDP, and I mean Booker T said it for years that he wouldn't have become a world champion if it wasn't for David Arquette winning the belt, because David Arquette came out and said that he shouldn't be champion when people like Booker T's never been the champion. Yeah, and that's when the WCW office kind of saw Booker T in another light, like, oh yeah, we got this guy over here who's younger. Yeah. Time to go in that direction.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'll definitely check that out at some point this week. Maybe we could do a full-blown review of that on this podcast, and that'd be great. For me personally, I recommend everyone checking out, of course, my favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's back with another edition of the Broken Skull Sessions, and this week he had Jerry Lawler on there. If you've seen the clips on social media, it talks about working with Jim Carrey when they filmed Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman story, and how Jim Carrey, I guess, was in character the whole time, being a method actor, if you want to call it that, and even when he showed up on the set, he threw like a drink at him and says, "I'm coming after you, Lawler." And so he was just a very interesting, kind of a little bit of a difficult person to work with at the time. At least that's from Lawler's perspective. So, and even he drew a photo of Batman for Stone Cold. Lawler is a great artist, comic book artist.
Yeah, very good.
So Stone Cold got a personalized photo or art piece from him, so he was very happy to get. So, and I have to watch it myself, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot about his history in pro wrestling. I mean, we all know more from his time as commentary from the Attitude Era to now, but I mean, he's a legend in the Memphis wrestling territory in the 70s and 80s, and I think a lot of like the fun gimmicks we see today came from the Memphis scene. Am I right, Richard? I mean, it's a lot of...
Oh, yeah. He's the king of Memphis.
Yeah.
USWA, NWA, Memphis Championship Wrestling, all that stuff.
Continental.
So looking forward to that as well. And all right, real quick, Richard, match of the week, show of the week.
Match of the week for sure was Rhea Ripley. The cage match, that was just fucking stellar. Mercedes Martinez. Show of the week, I'm going with Raw, because Raw put me on a buzz with Cedric Alexander that I didn't shake for the rest of it, because I was just pumped for the rest of the show after that. It felt good.
Nice. How about you, Tommy? Show of the week, match of the week.
I'll start match of the week. It was, to me, Finn Balor versus Adam Cole for the world title, and show of the week, NXT.
Awesome. Okay. Match of the week, I would say, Adam Cole, Finn Balor. Show of the week, AEW Dynamite. I'm going to say that. Why Rich got all silent? They had a great week, hit over 1 million viewers this week.
You can find me at Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram and nowhere else, folks.
Tommy, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982, folks.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything at In The Kliq, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well, YouTube. And thank you to all the Kliqsters who have already subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Please rate, comment, and share the podcast. A lot of big things coming up in the near future, so make sure you're following us for all the latest updates. And on that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.